How have the interviews been going with the teams for you here?
The interviews have been going very well. I was very well prepared in terms of just, being able to draw up schemes, draw up defenses, things like that, and answer the questions that are asked. And I feel like, the interviews that have been brought forth towards me have been very well.
Kendall, you're a little bit behind schedule with the medicals. Is the thing that bogs you down a little bit? Except from the medical exams?
What was that?
Did the medical exams keep you behind schedule today?
Yes, sir. I went and got an MRI on my knee and then an X-ray on my elbow. The X-ray was a past fracture from 8th grade.
What do you think is it that makes Georgia different than any other school in the country?
I would say at Georgia, we just prepare different every week. Every week we take it as a game mentality, especially having a coach like Kirby Smart. There are no days where we can just be lackadaisical or be lazy or anything like that. The Georgia standard has been set before I even stepped foot on campus, and that was something that we as players took that personal and wanted to uphold because, winning a national championship isn't easy. It's not something that you can just wake up and think, oh, we're Georgia, we're going to win. It's something that goes every day, even outside of practice. It starts with how you attack meetings, how you attack film room, the weight room, everything like that. So I feel like the way that we prepare, the way that we pride ourselves in the standard of Georgia football, that's what set us different from other college programs.
Can you talk a little bit about Carson Beck?
Yeah, Carson Beck is crazy because me and Carson came in on the same class. So, I remember Carson's hard times when there was a loaded quarterback room and, things were told, but things weren't really, end up on the back end. But just to see where he's at now, I'm very proud of Carson. He's been resilient. He showed composure and, everything that he's really taken in now, he really he deserves all of it because he's put the work in even when he was, coming out of high school, a great quarterback, but had to kind of sit in the shadows for a little bit. He stayed patient and everything's paying off for him now.
What teams have you met with formally here so far at the Combine?
I haven't met with any teams formally at the Combine.
Kendall, for you personally, what does it feel like to be here? Like you mentioned, with all the injuries you deal with, and you're having a tough road in. What's to get here?
It really feels like a dream come true. Even before Georgia, this opportunity was something that I dreamed about as a kid growing up. I feel like every kid that has football dreams watches the Combine, watches, all the fast 40s and, all the big names going through the Combine, and to be able to be here and have the opportunity to partake in the Combine is really a blessing. I was talking to Keon Coleman the other day. We were training together, and we were really just talking, and we kind of had a set-in moment of, dang, we're really at the NFL Combine. It all sets in. I feel like it probably hasn't hit me yet. When I look back on it, I see myself on TV or the pictures, like it's all gonna, set in that this is one of those moments that you really work your whole life for. That those times in youth football and high school, like these are moments that you look forward to, and to have these moments, is definitely a blessing.
What did it mean for you to finish the way that you did and basically your best performance?
It definitely meant the world to me because even, I got asked this question the other day of how I felt my career went. And I feel like some would say my career went good, but for me, I feel like there was a lot left on the table in terms of what I know that I bring to the table and what I know fully healthy Kendall Milton, what would have happened on that field. So, I feel like being able to have the opportunity to finish the back half of the season healthy, especially with finishing with the SEC schedule, the top teams in the SEC, that was definitely a blessing because, if anybody followed Georgia football, it hasn't necessarily been an easy college career or an easy journey. Even when I have played, there was still, dealing with certain stuff. But to have teammates that had my back, like Javon Bullard, Cedric Van Pran, those guys stayed in my ear every day, letting me know that they believe in me. And I let them know at the end of the Florida State game how much it meant to me because, those guys kept me motivated throughout that whole process. And, it was definitely a blessing to have teammates like that. And I got to give all the thanks to God for allowing me to have the back end of the year that I had.
When you say this, think about taking preventative measures throughout your career to maybe avoid injuries, or is it sometimes just bad luck?
I feel like part of my career has been bad luck, just especially with, the MCL type, just wrong place, wrong time, wrong situation. But, if you could ask any of the training staff, any of the coaches, I was in that training room, like I lived there, especially with my class schedule going into my senior year. I was in there any opportunity that I had of free time. I was taking it in the training room, just trying to get ahead of the game a little bit. I even invested in, certain things within my own household, like the little slant board, electric foam roller, foot massage, doing yoga every night in front of the TV, trying to do little measures just to keep myself on the field so I can be there to support my teammates.
Can you talk about your family, man? I know family's big for you. Talk about the support you've had throughout your career as well as you got it now.
It's been crazy, going through high school. My parents have made a lot of sacrifices just for being able to make me, who I am today. Even my brother is somebody who I looked up to. He was 5 years older than me, so he was really that big brother figure. He went to Fresno State, and I remember every game, I would take pictures of him before the game, after the game. I'm meeting up with him, putting the camera right in his face, letting him know how proud I am. And, just at this point now, to have kind of the roles flipped to where he takes me every day, and if I need to talk about something, he's always there for me. I would say my support system is the reason why I'm here, why I am today, because like I said, everybody knows what I dealt with at Georgia. There was a lot of moments where I didn't even know if I wanted to keep playing football, just because that when the injuries start piling up, you start getting in that kind of depressed mind state. But they were always those people that were literally in my corner. Every time after something happened, I would always call them, and they gave me the words that I needed to keep it going. So I would say there would be no Kendall Milton without my support system.
Kendall, when you say there's a lot left on the table for you, how is that motivating you going forward in your football career? Like, do you feel like your best football, your best playing could maybe still be ahead of you?
Yes, sir. I feel extremely motivated to continue out, especially at the next level. Like I said, a lot of levels on the table during college football, and I feel like going, into the next step. I feel like you said, my best football is ahead of me, because at this point, I'm going to be in situations where, I can take care of my body at a different level, and I really believe that, like you said, my best football is ahead of me, and a lot of things will be happening at the next level that will be, make me very proud, make my family very proud.
Kendall, Georgia brought in a transfer running back from Florida. What about the guys that are already there? What do you expect from them this year, some of those guys?
RBU, that's the main thing I expect out of Georgia. I feel like the standard has been there before I got there. It's going to be there after I leave. Even after Coach McGee, he just took the head coach job, but the standard is still RBU. And the guys in the room, Andrew Paul, Rod, Branson, even ATN, these guys are going to be able to uphold the standard. These are guys that are talented backs. I was with them for the past 2 to 3 years, a lot of them, seeing them every day, seeing the work they put in, seeing the talent they have. And I have no doubt that same standard will be upheld. After this year, in the next 20 years, like, RBU is just going to stay at that standard.
Kendall, what was the biggest learning curve for you at Georgia? How do you feel like they've prepared you for this moment?
I feel like at Georgia, the biggest thing that I learned is just really control what you can control. Because, like I said, the things that I dealt with, the paths that I took, I feel like there's a lot of situations that I couldn't control, and I was just able to stay composed and really see the brighter side of things. Especially, like I said, the path that I took, there was a lot of moments that were out of my control. And talking to my mom kind of taught me this, that if you dwell on what you can't control, then you're just gonna further throw yourself off path in the future. And I feel like I took that to heart, and when I learned to not get down in those moments, to actually just focus on things I can control. Like, say if I go down, then bet I could get in the playbook more. If I go down, then bet I'm gonna focus on film, just like little things like that. And I feel like it's really benefited me.
Kendall,
Last one.
Combine this week. Are the Buccaneers a team that you've met with? And also, what can you say about Brian McClendon and his time at Georgia?
Yeah, I talked to the Buccaneers briefly just within the informal interviews, and going to Coach BMac. Coach BMac's he's always been one of those coaches that he feels like more than a coach. He feels like somebody you could talk to. You know what I mean? He has that kind of that player mentality, that player type of vibe. When you talk to him, and it's easy to talk to him about off the field issues, talk to him about something going on in your life, because he's dealt with it. He's been in those situations. He's gone through everything we're going through, and he just has a big heart. And, I really appreciate BMac, because he's been one of those coaches that you can tell he has your best interest at heart, even off the field.
Have the Packers joining the NFC.
Thank you, Kendall.
Appreciate you.